Hello, everybody. Hello. This is
Oh,
Haico. Hello. Say hello to
that is
Haico. Hello,
Sasha.
Haico. Yay.
Hi, Sasha.
The legendary Heiko Kriegersman of Haico's Hot Sauce. Of those of you out there, if you don't know Haico's Hot Sauce, you need to. We've just been filming together, which I've been looking forward to very much because for me it's a special one. Haico is one of the reasons I have a hot sauce company. I don't think he even knows this, but because I told we have a few mutual friends, and I think I told a couple of them this information, but I don't know if anyone told you this. But yeah, I didn't really know that I could do what I'm doing until I came across you.
Well,
You were the reason.
I'm honored and somewhat surprised, but I'm glad that I helped you find your path in this life.
It was really, really simple, yeah. I was always a fan of nice small batch hot sauces. Always chewed them down, the stuff in Europe, you know. I was always very disappointed with the international kind of hot sauces that came in my direction from different places. They were never any good quality, you know. They'd lost that small batch feel that yeah, you can feel it, you can taste it, you can see it in a bottle what's a good quality small batch hot sauce. And then two things happened because I was thinking about starting a company, but I was like, I don't know, how the fuck can I do this? I mean, I can't really run a company because I mean it means I have to sell to the people around here and over there, and they're not many people, and I don't really know how I'll do that. And then I came across two things which changed my mind. I came across a bottle of your hot sauce here in Europe and a bottle from South Africa. For those of you who don't know, Haico's based in Canada, but he's a Dutch gentleman. Yeah, and I came across a bottle from South Africa, from Johnny Hexenberg, right? And these two sources I came across here in Europe, yeah, and both of them were clearly like artisan small batch hot sauces, and both of them had traveled around the world to where I was and landed on my table. And I thought to myself, shit, all right, this is actually possible. You can do this. And then I had a little look at you and I had a little look at Johnny Hexenberg, and I saw that both of you had kind of a farming setup connected as well. And then I thought, do you know what? I could also do something like that, couldn't I? And that was kind of why I realized that this whole thing that is my company, 420 Chili, was possible. And now I've got my own little, you can see over there, my own little grows of chilies. Nothing like on the scale of you guys over there. I mean, for the people who don't know your company, Haico, just explain to them a little bit about the farming side of it and the sources side of it.
So basically, it started off with a hobby, and it got way out of hand because here I am. I moved from the Netherlands to Canada about 17, 18 years ago now. And when I got here, they had two sauces that were readily available, and the third one just hit the market. Tabasco, Frank's Red Hot, and Sriracha. Sriracha was the best one that you could get. Like I said, I'm from the Netherlands. My family's from Indonesia, Suriname, India. I grew up with a lot of different spices and different flavors, and I basically just started to make my own hot sauce because all the other hot sauces just didn't deliver the heat and the flavor, or the heat or the flavor. So there's all these different combinations. You either get heat without flavor, or you get flavor without heat, or you get none of the above. I really couldn't find anything that had all of it. So I just started experimenting, grew some peppers in my front and backyard, and started making hot sauces. People were enthusiastic about it. They said I should do it for a living. And I was like, no, I got a job. I'm doing good. And yeah, about 6 years ago now, I actually went full-time with it. I went commercial. No, commercial, I was about 7 years. And about 4 years ago, I went full-time with it. So this is now my full-time job. And we've expanded from a front and backyard to an acre of field where we got about 2,000 to 2,500 peppers that we grow. So, and different kinds as well.
Yeah, the farming setup you've got there, the first thing that comes into my mind when I look at it is just like, where did you get those skills?
That's what I question myself about every day. No, it's just, I've always grown some peppers, even back in the Netherlands when I was living in an apartment building. I had a little Scotch bonnet plant, and I actually managed to get a couple of peppers off of it. And I gave one to my mother, and I said, "You should try this, but be careful; it's very hot." So she took a pepper about that big, which was a Scotch bonnet, cut it up, put it in the salad, and then actually took a bite. And then she took the rest of the peppers out of the salad again because it was too hot for her. So I've always been growing peppers and just having fun with them and just experimenting. There's another fun story actually about Angela, without whom there would not be a Haico'S hot sauce. I have to say this. The funniest thing happened. My stepdaughter came home and she had a bowl of pumpkin soup with her. And we just happened to be at this market where they had beautiful orange habaneros a week before. So what I did is I bought those habaneros and I made a batch of habanero hot sauce, which I put in the fridge because it wasn't to the extent that I was actually doing a commercial. It was just for my own consumption. So Angela said, "You know what? I'm going to have pumpkin soup." So she puts the bowl into the actual microwave, takes it out, takes a bite and says, "This is a little bit spicy." So I took a look and she had taken out my hot sauce and warmed that up and tried to eat it as a soup. Needless to say, it is an experience she never forgot after that. So she double checks what she's putting in her mouth.
I bet it is. I bet she fucking does. But you must have a house full of peppers. I'm sure you do. It's astonishing to see the pictures of your grow. I love the fact that Haico, if you don't look at Haico'S hot sauces online presence, have a look because you can see there really cool pictures. Haico has a tendency to take picture before anything's grown, and then it steps in the growing. And there's always standing in the middle of it a gigantic Dutchman with a big smile on his face and his hands up in the air, which I absolutely adore to look at. But I mean, you really get a great yield there. Do you grow enough peppers to produce everything from, or do you need other peppers too?
No, we actually grow enough peppers to get us through a year. That being said, we do have to come up with a contingency plan because we live in Canada, in Ottawa, which is actually a very short summer. The peppers are being started in a greenhouse. We always plant more than we need because we don't know what the germination rate is either. So this year we probably started around 3,000 plants. We will be selling some of them off because I can't yield. I can't grow that many. There's too much work to it. I need to make sauces too, you know.
Yeah.
And everything that we take off the field we use in our freezers. We have had years that we had a bumper crop, which helps with the years when we've got a short year. Last year was a massive year. We got started late because actually we had frost the last 3 days of May, which almost killed my crops. They were out in the fields. They weren't planted yet. We were able to actually get them down to a storage facility. And I had to top all of them because they had frost on the top of it. They all survived. 95% of them survived. And we had a summer that lasted really long. I mean, we were still picking Canadian things, Giving Day weekend, which is half October. And we had a huge yield. We actually made some pickled pots of pain because we had enough yield that I couldn't even get it all in my freezers.
Love it.
Pickled pots of pain are just pickled super hot peppers. We had a very good yield. So that's a bumper crop here. We also had years that we had to start picking the second week of September because we had the first frost. And then you have to rush your behind to the field because the peppers need to come off the field, otherwise they're done. So it's always a bit of a gamble. Like I said, I do have contingency plans. I know a lot of growers. There's growers that are about 700 kilometers away that are a little bit more south. They've got better circumstances. I am in contact with them. I have used them for some backup every now and then, but I would say that 95% of the peppers that we actually use in our hot sauces come off our fields.
And so when you took your crop, your most recent crop, I don't know if you have this number in your head, maybe you don't, but do you have a rough number of what kind of weight your crop comes in at from that size of area?
Yeah, we're looking at about 2,000 to 2,500 pounds, which is roughly 900 to 1,300 kilograms.
Dude, you must be picking until your hands fall off. I mean, that's not something that just you and Angela do. For those of you who don't know, Angela is, as Mrs. 420 is on my side, Angela is the brains of the operation. And
Exactly. Exactly.
absolutely.
She's the brains, the looks, and I'm just the brawn.
Oh, actually, I'll tell you what, all of you out there, if you'd like to see Angela and Heiko in action, I could strongly recommend you might like to jump onto their web series, The Normies. I enjoy the hell out of The Normies. It makes me smile endlessly. I can watch those things again and again and again, and I'm grinning from ear to ear. Maybe you can tell the people a little bit about The Normies, like where did the idea come from? What exactly is the content, you know?
So the Normies came from the concept that I am in a lot of different hot sauce groups, which must be a surprise to everybody considering what I do and what I like. Basically, what happened is we saw so many posts from the United States, from Canada, from all over the world. There's a lot of mainstream restaurants that are making now spicy food. And then you see people on the forums like, well, it's not spicy at all. And I think to myself, no, that's because you're just an idiot like me. And you eat everything way too fucking hot. And you eat for breakfast, lunch, your snacks, whatever. You put hot sauce and hot stuff and everything. So no wonder you don't think it's hot. Angela, on the other hand, also known as Crumbs, because she always ate the crumbs of my challenges after I did a hot eating challenge. She does not eat a lot of spicy at all. I did get her to the point now that she actually uses hot sauce to cook with, but it was a fight that only took 5 years or 6 years that I was here. So she's a very good benchmark for somebody that doesn't eat a lot of spice, is dabbling a little bit in it, but see what their opinion is on the actual mainstream spicy food that is being brought out of the market. And it must not be a surprise that 9 out of 10 times it's not that hot for me, and I've actually started bringing additional sauces with me just to give it a bite that I want to have. But you get a genuine, pure reaction of Angela actually, if it's spicy, yes or no. We give it a rating from 1 to 10, how hot it is. And yeah, we're having a lot of fun. There's a lot of recurring themes that are coming around as well. So it's just one of those things that we started doing. And I try to post it on a lot of forums as well, just to give people a bit of an understanding that, yeah, I know that you are doing a lot of hot stuff and you don't think it's spicy, but take a look at what normal people, because you're not normal. You're not normal. You're not normal.
Nope.
Like,
I've
right?
worked very hard to become this much of a weirdo. That's what I always tell people. Yep.
It's hard work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my stomach and my intestines have suffered to get me here, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, that's where that concept came from, and that's how we got started on it. So whenever there's a new mainstream burger or bite or chicken or you name it available, then we'll go there and we'll do what do Normies think, and we'll usually do it from our car as well. It's usually a drive-through that we go through. We pick it up, we go back to the car, because that way it's still warm and you don't have to worry about it cooling down and so on and so on. So it's fresh off the restaurant, and sometimes there's a very big disappointment, not because of just the heat level, but also the food. But there's other times that there's actually beautiful food out there. So
I have to confess that with your Normies videos, much like, actually, I can also make a comparison here to videos made by Mike Jack of Mike Jack Eats Heat. We filmed with Mike Jack some time ago and his lovely Mrs. Jamie. We did the Romeo and Juliet Super Hot Challenge, and really what it was an excuse to exploit is the wrong word. It was an excuse for me to have a good damn look at something which I just is one of the reasons I adore their videos, and it's also one of the reasons I adore yours and Angela's videos, is yeah, I'm enjoying the review, yeah, I'm enjoying the spicy eating or whatever, but when I see Mike and Jamie just interacting with each other, it makes me feel warm and lovely. There's something adorable about the way those two people are with each other, you know? And that was why I gave them Romeo and Juliet to do together, to be honest, because I really wanted to see them doing romantic stuff with each other. And I get the same thing with you and Angela. See, I've been married twice. I'm a collector. I'm not one of these people who's bitter on marriage. I fully intend to get married again. I believe in it. I love, as they say, yeah? And when I watch you and Angela on those Normies things, kind of secretly, I'm watching you two looking at each other. That's what I'm looking at. I enjoy to see the way you two relate to each other. How long have you two been married now?
So we've been together for close to 20 years right now, and we got married 12 and a half years ago, a little bit more than 12 and a half years ago. It was a very, very interesting way that happened because we both agreed, well, we don't really have to get married. I mean, Angela has been married before. I have not been married before. And every time that I asked her, do you want to marry me? I got this deer in the headlight look like. So I kept asking her, and she got back to me actually at one time when we were at my friend's wedding on a cruise ship. And I said, do you want to marry me? And she said, yes. And that's when I had to. So we did get married about a half a year later. And yeah, it's been fun. And actually, I got married twice as well because I married her twice just to make sure. I mean, if you do it right. So we get married here in Canada, and then we get married in the Netherlands as well.
Does that have some kind of an impact on your marriage status? Does that mean that you're like more legally married or something?
Well,
is that a trick for the retirement funds or something?
Here's the thing. The reason why we did that is because my friend, who is a maritime pilot in the Netherlands, was actually officiating the wedding in the Netherlands in Dutch. So Angela has no idea what she agreed to.
That's very brave of Angela. Angela, you're a very, very brave lady. Dutch is a very weird language. It all sounds like they want to do something awful to you when they say it. How did you two actually meet, though? What was the first? What was it? I mean, how does a Dutch guy somewhere? Did you meet before Canada, or were you in Canada already?
We met before I moved to Canada. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was looking to move abroad for a long time from the Netherlands. I was looking to go to Ireland. You know that the economy isn't great. New Zealand, I didn't have enough money. I was looking to go to Canada, and then I went to Canada to check it out, and I met abroad. So I went to abroad, and that made it a lot easier to make a decision where I want to go.
So I mean, what was the logic for leaving the Netherlands? Why did you want to move to another country?
Because there is right now, I think 17 and a half or 18 million people on a piece of land that's 200 by 300 kilometers, which is very, very packed. It's one of the most densely populated areas in the world. Japan and India and certain parts of China are exceeding that number. But other than that, I think it's in the top. It's definitely in the top 10 of most densely populated areas. And even though we do get a lot of vacation days and it sounds all great, there's a lot of stress that comes along with working for somebody in the Netherlands. Even though there's less vacation days here in Canada, it's a more relaxed pace. And I just had enough of being surrounded by people. When I wanted to go to a friend of mine that lived 10 minutes away, it took me half an hour, depending on the time. I used to work at Schiphol. I lived in Vlaardingen, which is about a half an hour trip normally. And I started at 6 o'clock in the morning. And the reason for that is every 5 minutes that I would leave later would take me 10 minutes longer to get to my destination. So you basically just get in line to get into a traffic jam. And it's not one of my hobbies. Now, where I live in Ottawa, it is actually the capital of Canada, but it's got this feeling of a bunch of towns, which it actually is, that have been amalgamated. So we're living in one of the outskirts, in Fairhaven, as they call it, Barhaven, which is on the outside of the city. I can drive a half an hour one way and I'm actually in the city. I can drive a half an hour the other way and I'm in the middle of a park. So there's much more room here. And I got more with this place than with the Netherlands. Now, the Netherlands is a great place to visit and the Netherlands is a great place to be from.
Why is it a great place to be from specifically? Because of the passport's ability to move you to other places, maybe?
No, it's just a great place to be from, so you don't have to be there.
Aha! Much like Britain. Yes, I'd agree with that completely. Yeah, I'm with her. That's one of the reasons I'm here in Germany, actually, I have to say. So you must miss some stuff from the Netherlands. What about, for example, that weird game of snooker I've never understood that you have over there with 3 balls? You must miss something, surely.
Billiards. Yeah, billiards is fun, but they've got pool billiards here. So I play pool. Well, I played pool before the whole world came to a standstill. So I play pool here. Other than that, yeah, there's What I really miss is the typical Dutch snacks. So you're talking about frikadellen, bitterballen, croquetten, all the deep fried bad stuff that you can get here. It's absolutely amazing. We can get it here. We got a Dutch store here in Ottawa, so I can get my fix every now and then. But it's stuff like that. And once Adam Curry, a DJ from the Netherlands, got asked after he moved to the United States, what do you miss the most about the Netherlands? And he said, a typical Dutch meal like shawarma. Think about that one. So there's so much influences in the Netherlands from different cultures that it's hard to say. What I do miss, Indonesian food, because there's a huge Indonesian community. I'm very lucky that I can cook pretty decent and I can make my own Indonesian food, Suriname food, same thing. I've got a Suriname cookbook that I stole from my mother on one of my visits. I said, I'm taking this with me. And I've been making chicken curry here, Suriname chicken curry, stuff like that. So typical Suriname dishes, and even my wife agrees that that is very tasty. So it's stuff like that. And it's great when I go back home. I try to go back home once a year, back home to the Netherlands, visit my mother. And I'm strolling around all the places that I haven't been and eat all the things that I can get here. And even if I make it myself, it's not the same as when you get it from the actual authentic places. So that's one of the things that I miss the most.
And you told me you have then Indonesian influences in your family?
Correct. Yeah, I've got my cousins. So my uncle was actually one of the people that got forced out of Indonesia, and he married my father's sister, so my aunt. And I've got cousins that are half Dutch, half Indonesian. Actually, the Moluks, to be more specific, because there's actually a fight going on between the Moluks and Indonesia as well. There's a whole history.
Hang on. Moluks, help me here. I'm stupid. I'm British. We have a very low IQ. There's a lot of lead in the water. You have to help us with the Moluks thing.
So the Moluks is actually a group of islands in Indonesia, and that is part of the reason why there's so many Indonesian. And so how can I explain it? So think of it this way. You got the United Kingdom, you got England, you've got Scotland, you've got Wales, you got Northern Ireland. Okay?
Yeah.
So you got something similar actually in Indonesia. You've got different regions with different tribes and different groups of people that actually are living in that area. And just like the English and the Scottish, they get along very well, especially when they're fighting. So that's the easiest way to actually explain how what the difference is between those two.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. Hey, am I right? If I remember correctly, isn't that one of the ironic things about that terrifying politician from over there? What's his name? Geert Wilders. That guy, didn't I read somewhere that actually he's an Indonesian, like a dark-skinned Indonesian family? For the context of the people out there, Geert Wilders is something like a far-right populist politician in the Netherlands. I've never met someone from the Netherlands that likes him, actually. I've yet to meet one Dutch person who thinks Geert Wilders is anything apart from stupid. Maybe I've changed that now. I don't know. But he's Indonesian, isn't he?
That could very well be. So to reiterate, I've been gone from the Netherlands for about 16 years right now. And I know that he was around when I was there, but I'm not keeping a lot of track of the Netherlands or the Dutch politicians and the politics for the very simple reason that I'm not voting in the Netherlands either, because I'm not in the country. I do not feel that I have a say in what is going on in the Netherlands. I don't have a say here in Canada either, because I'm not a Canadian citizen, but that's a different story. No. So I cannot give you an honest opinion because I don't see enough. I know that he makes some very bold statements and some very stupid statements, but he's also making a lot of statements that actually do make a lot of sense. So it's hard for me to give you an actual honest judgment answer because I don't have enough information to make the judgment call.
Yeah, I'm one of these guys like you who's floating around outside of democracy. I'm not really entitled, because I'm not a German citizen, to do any kind of voting here. And in Britain, the law, as far as I was told the last time, is if you've not registered in a British voting station, inland, within 7 or 8 years, then you are excluded from the British voting system. And so I can't vote in Germany. I can't vote in Britain. I am without democracy. I am democracy free. I'm just floating around in the ether. Kind of like
anarchists forever, man.
Chili head anarchists. That's what we are. Talking of chili head, I have eaten a bunch of Haico'S hot sauces and a few other bits and pieces from Haico. And I'm interested, first of all, the first commercial products, the first products that you started, what were they? What were your first sauces that you started to sell? And are you still selling them? And what is your product range now? Because it seems to be massively diverse.
So the first 6 that I actually brought on the market commercially in an actual commercial viable packaging are Canadian Jerk, Ring of Fire, Mustard Menace, 50 Shades of Pain, Garlic Ghost, and Scorpion's Kiss. And the first one that I handed out, this is a funny story actually, the first one I handed out to a guy that helped me a lot was the Scorpion's Kiss. And we walked into a barbecue place where he was doing a demo. He's a big barbecue guy here in Ottawa. And he was doing a demo, and we walk in and he said, "Hey, John, take this, beautiful, here, first bottle for you." And he said, "Okay, that's great." He tried it out. He almost lost his cookies because it is the hottest one in my regular lineup. I forgot to tell him that Scorpion peppers, ghost peppers, and jalapenos. Good percentage, about 50-60% of the bottle is actual peppers. So it's got a good heat to it. Anyway, there was another guy there, Michael, who's a good friend of ours, and he comes walking up. He said, "Oh, that's great. Can I see that? Locally made? Yeah, beautiful. What's the name of it?" Because it did have the Scorpion's Kiss on it, but it didn't have Haico'S hot sauce on it. So we had to go back, actually have new labels made for all the hot sauces that we had. But those are the 6 original ones that we actually had. What has happened ever since is I tend to get bored quite easily, and I've got all these beautiful peppers that I can do things with, and I get deals here and there, and somebody comes over and he says, "Here, I got the ahi lemons, do something with them." And okay, so I make something else. So what I've been doing is I've been making a couple of, seasonal products. So I've had the ahi, the spring sambal for the longest time, which is an ode to the sambal that you can get in the Netherlands, typical Indonesian condiment that actually goes along with a lot of the Indian food. Different take on it with the ahi lemon, which is not a pepper that is indigenous to Indonesia or that you can find a lot of in the Netherlands. Lemongrass, or real Indonesian flavor. This year, I'm not doing that one. I'm going to be doing something else. I've got pumpkin Pyro, which is a harvest hot sauce. Been doing that for 4 years right now. Very hot. It's got some Reaper Beast peach in there. Actually, funny story about that. The Reaper Beast peach that I grow here, I got the original seeds from Tobias Dorf, who was from Germany. And I met him in Belgium when I was there actually for a hot sauce expo. And the 12 seeds that he gave me all germinated, and they gave a beautiful, beautiful crop. Right now, we've got 200 of those plants planted. So it's
2019. Did you get those seeds in 2019?
I did. Correct.
I got some seeds also from Belgium, from the Reaper Beach 2019 as well. And they are some phenomenally, what's the word I want? Fruitful plants. The amount of yield I get from them is astonishing.
Yeah, it's one of the better. Like I said, we've got 200 plants right now. I've harvested the seeds from the actual pepper. So to get back to your question, so my quick answer is my lineup right now varies anywhere between 13 and 17 hot sauces, and that depends on the season.
I wonder about. See, this was. It's not something where I'm blowing sugar up your ass here. I was honestly shocked to get your hot sauce in my hand when I did, and Johnny's as well, Hexenberg from South Africa. I feel very honored that we all of us actually have a little connection, because I know Johnny very well in South Africa. He's one of the coolest dudes ever, super cool guy. And then there's you right there at the end of the Zoom. I'm fanboying out. I really am. Yeah. But then I wonder about how I think I've even seen pictures of you in Belgium at that hot sauce expo, because if I remember correctly, I think Johnny Scoville paid you a visit on that one with Johnny Jr., didn't he?
Johnny Scoville and Johnny Jr. were there as well. Johnny was actually doing a competition with the Chili Queen, Shahina, and
yeah.
the UK Chili Queen. And Johnny did his first competition in Belgium. Johnny Jr. did his first pepper eating competition in Belgium. And Edda, the ice lady, was there as well, actually. So it was
one of my favorite people.
It was a great getting together. We hung out with everybody that was there. Shahina, Johnny, we had a blast of a time. I can honestly say that Johnny has become a very good friend of mine, and it was really fun to see him in Belgium. And it blew him away because I'd been chatting with him back and forth, been sending in some product, and then at one of his videos, live videos, he was like, "I'm going to Belgium, this and that, and blah blah blah." I said, "Yeah, I'm going too." In the chat, he said, "What? You're going to Haico? You're kidding?" And I said, "No." I said, "Oh, you're not going?" I said, "No, I'm not kidding." So we actually ended up meeting up the night before, and we had a great party just with makers and everybody, and it was an absolute great success. It helped us get our products, some of the products in Europe as well. So that's why we're available in Europe a little bit more right now. Still working on taking over the world, which is actually my tagline. So
there you go. Well, I mean, that's something that Mr. Hexenberg in South Africa seems to have a very good label on right now. He's, I would say, I've yet to find anyone who can bang the drum quite as well as he can. That's a very strategically focused man. I was talking to him the other day, and we were talking about, I was like, I just don't understand how you have the time and how you have the organizational skills. And he said to me, "Oh, it's very simple, Sash. I have to schedule everything. And that's what it is. It's all about scheduling, I guess. But like, I mean, with you, you're available in a lot of places. I know people eating your sauce in Australia.
yes,
I know
yes.
Australian people who've bought your sauce in Australia. How many countries do you sell in?
I actually do not sell it in that many. The thing about it is that depending on how you answer that question, I sell in every country where they want to have it, but they will have to get in contact with me because I do ship directly to people that are interested in my hot sauces. I've got customers in Switzerland, in Australia, like you said. I've been shipping to Sweden, Belgium, the Netherlands, you name it. Anywhere that anybody wants to have a bottle of my hot sauce, I could definitely help you out. Now, what I do recommend people, if they do that, get together with a group of people and buy in bulk. It's easier. There's a couple of retail outlets online that actually carry it, or in person. Right now it is in Sweden and in Belgium where they are actually available. Now, both of those retail outlets actually ship all over Europe as well. So that makes the whole European market very accessible, or it makes it very accessible for the whole European market.
Yeah, talking about online, before we come to an end today, talking about online, I'd really like you to give the people a little bit of information about your Canadian hot sauce website project. Can you tell the people a little bit about that one?
So what happened during COVID is everybody got skimmed out of their market. So we, for example, in the first year, 2020, we lost 200 markets in the first year, which meant that we did not have our outlet possibility to sell directly to the public. We were able to actually shift it over to online very quick because we had the whole infrastructure already set up. So literally people knew us, they knew where to find us, and so on and so on. What we noticed as well is that a lot of the hot sauce places that are here in Canada stopped carrying a lot of the smaller hot sauce makers here from Canada. So we managed to get a grant, and we actually used the money of the grant to help out small hot sauce makers here in Canada. And we started the online Canadian hot sauce store. So it focused only on Canadian hot sauce makers, small Canadian hot sauce makers, and we've got it all under one roof. That means that if you are actually interested in hot sauces from Canada, you're able to order them all at the same spot. Now, again, we do ship worldwide. What I do ask about people that are not in the United States or in Canada, send us an email. There's an email address actually on the website, and we can give you a quote on the shipping, because the shipping is the big unknown when you actually do it. Again, if you bulk up on an order, it's going to be cheaper to get it into the country. So yeah, that's basically how the online Canadian hot sauce store came to mind. And again, this is all the brainchild of my wife. I am just the brawn, she's the brains.
I think that is the most apt. I'm sitting here with one of the people who inspired me at the beginning of my journey to show me it was possible to do what I can do. And I think that that's a very good point that my boy Haico'S made actually up there, which is that you know, without the great woman behind him, he's nothing. And
Exactly.
I'm the same. I'm the same way. And I can think of a number of hot sauce companies. For example, the Capsaicin Cartel. I would even say sorry hot sauce if it's going to stay in the Canadian region. And you know, we were talking a lot about Johnny Hexenberg. Also, his missus, I would say, is similar. But behind every great man is an even greater woman. I think that's a very nice place for us to close today. Go online to the Canadian online Haico. Help me with my words.
The online Canadian hot sauce store. So www.tochss.ca. So www.tochss.ca. I'm looking at my what do you call it? Yeah, Vanna.
Okay, now boys and girls, hit those websites, hit those Canadian hot sauce producers, and most importantly, get some fucking Haico'S hot sauce in your life. It's very important. My life has been made better by it in so many ways. So, all of you out there in television land, I'd like to say to you, from myself, from the lovely Haico, we'd love to say ciao for now. So, ciao.